We've been at sea for 1 week now, and Mexico is a distant 700 nautical miles behind us. Each day, we get a little closer to our destination across the Pacific, French Polynesia. The voyage is far from over, as over 2,000 nautical miles of open ocean stretches out in front of our bow. We're thankful that so far, our biggest hurdle has been a broken toilet. But as just a tiny speck in this vast expanse of blue water, we know we will need teamwork and resilience to navigate our way across the world's largest ocean. And with each passing day, an extraordinary journey is unfolding. Our morning has started out fantastic. The sun is shining, and I woke up and Gary's shitting in a bucket.
Good morning! Would you bring me the newspaper, please?
How's your view?
Terrible.
Day 6 at sea. Day 7. Oh man, but I am really happy to see the sun out this morning. It's been cloudy for the past few days, so we've not been getting much solar, and we've had to run our generator. But anyway, life is good. We're just sitting here talking about our sail plan for the day. So yesterday we put out our staysail to the starboard side. But last night we took it down overnight, and this morning I think we're going to go ahead and extend our pole a little bit more and pull out the rest of our Genoa. Right now we have it reefed. We have it, like a double reef in it, but the wind has been pretty consistent, staying under 20 knots. So I think we'll go ahead and extend it and see if we get a little bit more speed, and maybe it'll steady us out of it. And we can always reduce speed, or always reduce sail if we need to overnight to feel a little bit more comfortable. Extending the whisker pole might seem pretty straightforward, but because of the motion of the boat in the swell, it adds a layer of complexity.
Wow.
Challenge accepted, and
Pancakes and fruit.
and nailed it. Under clear skies with favorable winds, we spent the majority of our morning relishing in the pure joy of sailing as one life glided effortlessly through the waves. As the boat rolls from side to side, the simple act of chopping vegetables or cracking eggs can feel like a high-stakes juggling act. I decided to make us some pad thai for lunch. We had quite a few vegetables that are starting to go bad, because I wanted to get those cooked. And it gives me something to do other than just roll around. It's kind of fun just taking on something as easy as cooking, because it's such a challenge that you actually feel like you've scored a victory once you're eating your meal.
Or crushed it.
You have yourself strapped in.
Yep. I got tired of getting thrown off the seat into the wheel, so I don't have to. Just tied myself in.
Quite clever you are. All right, guys. Gary's decided to do it. He's fixing our toilet. He's gloving up right now.
Oh, I don't know if I'm fixing it, but I'm going to try.
This is a huge job to be doing at sea. in rolly conditions. So what do you actually think is going on with the toilet?
It's just the duckbill valve.
The duckbill valve.
See all that?
So that's poop.
Oh yeah, it's hardened, crusted over poop. The way these work is when there's pressure on the outside, it pushes it closed. And when there's pressure this way, it can open up.
Oh, got it.
So it's just like a one-way valve. I probably need to take this apart again at some point and clean all that out in this little plastic piece. I'm not going to try that right now.
Alright, Anchor.
Nope, the pump itself needs a new seal or something. In the base here, there's another little check valve. Yeah, I mean, the whole pump's gonna free fold off.
Okay. Bucket it is. Gary did his best to tackle the toilet situation, but we've decided to push that worry aside to another day. What are you doing?
Nothing. For a few hours now, I've done nothing but lay here and watch some birds and watch some waves roll by. Time's moving very slow. Good morning, just woke up. It was a pretty uneventful night. The winds picked up a bit to like 20, gusting to 25. So we actually furled in the Genoa and we rolled out the staysail and slowed down for the night just to make it a little bit easier on us and easier to get some sleep. But we're only doing about 3 knots now, so it's time to switch it up and get going again. I think because as we're making this run, the wind's been shifting from north and gradually shifting from north to the east. And as that's been bending around, we've kind of been running dead downwind, but at this point, I think we would actually need the pole on the other side to continue on using the pole. So I think today we're gonna drop the pole, and since we pretty much got to take the pole down to switch sides, I figure while it's down, maybe we'll give the Spinnaker a run today and see how that works for us, see if that's less rolly, see how the speed is, and see if we're comfortable with that for a little while. We'll try something a little different, and then maybe at the end of the day, we'll switch the pole out to the other side and continue with the Genoa out through the night. But we've got a little bit of rigging work to do this morning, so let's get to it.
We found ourselves adjusting our sails often, sometimes multiple times a day. Sail changes typically aren't too physically demanding, but with lack of sleep, we sometimes found them to be grueling. The motion of the boat right now is so much better than it has been the past few days. I also saw dolphins this morning around sunrise. I wasn't able to get any pictures because the waves were so steep that you could barely see them, but I saw them and I heard them. So I'm thinking that's a good omen, and hopefully this is the turning point of our sail. It's been a week since we've been out here now. Setting up to fly our Spinnaker is a bit like a coordinated dance. We each know what needs to happen, and with effective communication, we can get the job done pretty quickly.
Okay, start sheeting.
Once a sail change is made, we are able to relax and take pleasure in our efforts. Well, until the next sail change anyway. Downwind!
Tide blowing the tap.
Hey!
We decided to just roll out the Genoa. It's still pretty windy today. It's 15, gusting up to 18 or 20 sometimes. And that can be a good bit for the Spinnaker. It would be okay, but it would also be kind of pushing us on the edge. And the name of the game for this sail is just take it easy and get there. So we've been saying, you know, we want to be sailing the boat at 60% of its capacity, not at 90% of its capacity. So one thing that's a little different on an ocean crossing is you have to be really cognizant of chafe, because we can be on the same point of sail without touching anything for 2 or 3 days at a time. And if we're only sailing for like a couple hours, then it wouldn't be a big problem. But right now our sheet for our Genoa is rubbing occasionally on our preventer for the main. We have a preventer on the main out to the side just to expose our solar panels better. And if we let that go for a few days, it could end up wearing right through our Genoa sheet. So we're gonna put a little bit of chafe protection on there just to be safe.
What?
That's good. Brooke just was a real trooper and went down and made us cheeseburgers for dinner. It looks amazing. I think she's probably feeling a little too sick to eat it, but hopefully some fresh air gets her back to normal and she can enjoy it. It looks so good. You okay over there?
Drinking coconut water. Coconut water.
That'll bring you back to life.
Yeah. Fish of the day.
Well, we finally caught a fish.
A little mahi.
A little mahi. We're gonna let him go because he's a little baby.
Bye, mahi.
Okay, it's time to try to fix our head pump again. It's really rolly right now and it's not gonna be fun, but it needs to be fixed. I've got my spare seals and gaskets, and I have a whole spare pump body if needed. So I'm gonna have to take this pump off and see what's going on with it. got the pump off, and there's a gasket on the bottom. And it looks like it's just completely disintegrated. So I'm gonna pull that off, put a new one on, and hopefully that fixes it.
I just want to give Gary a big shout out right now. It is not pleasant being downstairs with this roll that we've got on. So if you watch the water line right there, that'll kind of give you an indication of how much the boat's moving right now. So it goes up and then back down and up and back down.
All right, it's all put back together. Gonna open the through holes, see if it's fixed. All right, we're flushing. Now I gotta clean up underneath it to see if there's any leaks because it's such a mess and there's already water all over the place, so I can't tell if anything's leaking, but we'll live with a small leak until we get anchored. But just gotta make sure that it's no major leaks. Well, it was leaking out the joker valve, discharge valve. So I went ahead and replaced the oboe, and look how clogged up this one is. We probably need to replace some of our head hoses. We'll have to add that to our next refit list to replace all of our head hoses. And the toilet seat broke while I was working on it because I was getting tossed around into it. So here's the fix for that for now. Cable ties, that'll work. All right, I think we're back in business.
With our toilet fixed, we could comfortably slide back into life at sea. After so many days alone, surrounded by nothing but water, we find ourselves falling into a strange state of calm. Out here, it's just us, our boat, and the mesmerizing peace that comes with being just a speck in the middle of the ocean. We just took down our Genoa and put out our staysail because the winds have picked up a bit. And we decided we don't need to be surfing down the waves in the middle of the night. It's just another day on the Pacific Ocean. I had a friend ask me last night if we were lonely out here, and I told her, I was like, no, I'm not lonely at all. I don't feel lonely. It's tough to describe what I feel, but I guess it's more a feeling vulnerable because we know we are out here completely by ourselves. The closest boat is probably, I don't know, 150 to 200 miles away. So if we needed anything, it would take a while for them to get to us.
Right now we're sailing with just our staysail out. And to be able to do that, we can't go quite dead downwind. For the past, I think it's been about 4 days, we've been pretty much sailing dead downwind with our whisker pole out. And the whisker pole works great for kind of hands-off sailing. Once we have it set, we can just head dead downwind pretty much, and the head sail will stay out flat. It can be a little rolly though, because with the waves coming straight from behind and the sail kind of flat, there's really nothing keeping the boat from rolling and rocking back and forth. So there's a couple things that people do to make it less rolly when you're sailing dead downwind. You might say, well, why don't you use your mainsail and go wing on wing? And for us, our problem is that we're cutter rigged, and we have these check stays right here on either side. These go up to support the staysail attachment point. Really prevent us from swinging the boom out far enough to get the sail out wide enough to use it to go downwind. What ends up happening is, even when we have it out far enough, either the mainsail ends up slamming off of this check stay, or the mainsail can't be out wide enough to not be kind of oriented fore and aft still. So when the boat rolls in these big seas like we're in, the sail just slams open and closed. So we've tried it, and it really just doesn't work. And that's why we've been sailing dead downwind with just our head sail on the whisker pole. The other option, of course, is to run off at angles. Instead of going dead downwind, why not run at, 30 or 40 degrees off the wind and then jibe and come back at 30 or 40 degrees off the wind? And we tried that too. And the problem with that is, when there's only about 12 to 15 knots of wind like there's been here, it's just not enough wind to hold our staysail, or to hold our Genoa open when the boat rolls really bad. So what ends up happening is the boat rolls and the sail collapses, and then the boat rolls back and the sail just slams open, shuttering the rig. Not good for the sail. So that's really not a good option for us either in these sea conditions. We were just talking about it today, what we're gonna do. The wind piped up to like 20 knots last night. So we furled in our Genoa and just rolled out the staysail and have been running at about 4 knots, which is a little slow. And we want to get a little more speed going today. So I think what we're going to do is furl in our staysail. We're now at a point where we can run at a reasonable angle to the wind. The wind's slowly clocking around to the east for us. So we're able to run south now with the wind just behind the beam instead of right behind us. So we're going to roll in the staysail, point back into the wind and get our main up, maybe single reefed, and then we'll turn back and we'll either roll out the staysail again or roll out the Genoa, depending on how much wind we have. We'll need to take down the pole too after we get the main up. So we've probably got a half hour to an hour of sail changes here. So we're going to get to work, and then hopefully we'll have smooth sailing again.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Got it? Good?
Yep. Well, now that we have our sails reconfigured, we're doing about 6 knots, and it's a much more comfortable motion. We've bared off, so we're running at like 120 degrees right now with a reef Genoa and a double reef in our mainsail. Anyway, we're just moving along, and that's about it. We've not seen any other ships. We've seen some birds, but
We haven't seen a ship in like 5
nothing.
days.
Yeah, we haven't seen a ship 5 days at least. Yeah, and we're beginning to lose track of what day it is. It's day 10, we think. The endless expanse of the ocean, with its unchanging horizon, can sometimes feel like a relentless, unbroken cycle.
especially with the same tasks being repeated day after day. But it is also in these moments that time seems to vanish, and we are able to find peace and solace knowing we have nothing else to do.
I told you I wasn't going to go to sleep.
I told you I was. Someone's a little feisty today. I don't think he slept well last night.
As days slowly rolled into weeks, we found comfort in the routine, knowing that every monotonous moment was a step closer to our destination.
I've been checking our wind data here because we're sailing kind of due south now because the wind's a little bit still out of the northeast and it's not quite clocking around to the east yet like it should be for us. So I was just checking our charts over the past 8 hours. This is our ground wind speed, and the wind's actually been settling down through the evening here, but lately it's been picking up at night, so we kind of expect that to come back up in a little bit. And then this is the ground wind direction, and towards the top here is east, and towards the bottom here is north. And you can see it's actually been moving over the last couple hours the wrong direction. It's actually been getting more north and less east. So hopefully that switches around because we need to start curling around and heading to the west instead of heading due south. So just checking the trends. Well, it's the night of day 10, which makes this officially our longest sail ever. We've covered a bit over 1,000 miles now, and it's gone pretty smoothly, really. I think the biggest breakdown we've had is the toilet pump, and that was manageable. Gross, but manageable. But there hasn't really been much to film or talk about on these night watches. The sailing in the trade winds is really nice because the wind is very consistent all through the day and night. So we can pretty much set the sails and set the autopilot, and all we need to do on our night watches is look around the horizon every 15 minutes or so, check the AIS, although there's been pretty much zero traffic out here, and relax up here in the cockpit. It's been pretty peaceful and pretty easy going. Not really much else to report, which is a good thing. These relaxing night watches definitely help out during the day because we're able to get good rest and not scrambling with sail changes and squalls all through the night. That might change a little as we get towards the equator here. There's the intertropical convergence zone, which is also known as the doldrums, and it's an area where there's either no wind or there's a lot of squalls and thunderstorm activity. So it might get a little hairier in the next couple of days, but for now we're going to keep enjoying this peace and quiet.
Well, the other one might be a little bigger.
All right, we've got 2 fish on this morning already. Okay, we think they're 2 small ones. Both of them were small? Oh.
The one's thinking about drying, so.
Yeah.
Let's do the other one. It's not much bigger.
Little schoolies. 2 fish on before we even had breakfast. That's a good sign. They were both small little mahi, so we let them both go.
I don't want to reel it in.
More fish on!
I literally saw them come over and get it. Turn off.
Oh, this one might be bigger. Look at that little guy. All right. Grow, buddy, grow.
I literally saw them skipping across the surface.
That's awesome.
When the sailing is smooth, it is so easy to get lost in the moment. The miles slowly tick off, and the struggles we face seem like a distant memory.
It's a pretty sporty day of sailing today. We've had 18 to 20 knots, and we've got a double reefed main and a reefed Genoa out, and we're just running and surfing down these waves and zipping along. It's fast sailing, so that's good. Guess I won't reel in quite yet.
There's still some daylight left. Just as the sun's beginning to set, we got hooked up another little mahi. Gary's gonna reel it in and release it. De-hooker or no? No, I don't want it.
You don't want it?
Well, we don't have much room in the freezer, so.
Then yeah, de-hooker. Pretty one.
It's pretty. I don't know. If it gets towards the end of our trip and we haven't kept anything for our freezer, we might keep a little one. We might not get another one, that's right. That might be it. We didn't end up getting too much sleep last night. The wind was super light and variable. So we were trying to do different cell configurations to basically just keep moving either south or west. And we're still hoping that the wind fills in from the east. It's still out of the north right now. Kind of seems like windy and predict wind haven't been all that accurate with the forecasts out here. Okay. Got that Spinnaker up just in time, and it started raining. But we still have about 12 knots of true wind, so it's perfect for the Spinnaker. But we're debating if we want to keep it up and see what the wind does, or go ahead and drop it.
If we drop it, then what? Then we motor? Or what? It's the option.
So you want to wait till we get into trouble to drop it, is what you're saying?
But right now the wind's fine. It's 12 knots. It's dropping back to 10 knots. Like, I don't know.
What do you need me to do? And that is why I wanted to take the Spinnaker down early. We just got our asses kicked. Wow. Whew. So we actually didn't get the major faux pas with the Spinnaker on camera because we were just worried about saving the boat.
I don't know what happened. It went from 10 knots to 25 knots in like a blink of an eye. But yeah, with that much sail up, the boat just wanted to round up. So basically the boat rounded up into the wind, which powers up the sail even more, and it dipped the rail way into the water. So we just basically had to stop trying to bear off because there was no way that the rudder was going to be enough to bear off. So we just let it round up into the wind, spilled the air off the Spinnaker, blew the sheet, released the sheet all together, and then I went forward and started pulling the sock down and wrestling the Spinnaker back on deck.
How's it look down here?
Looks like a few things went for a flight.
Flying.
Drawers open, drone and guitar went flying.
Where's the drone?
Up here by your dresser.
Holy shit.
I'm pretty sure it was
Your
on the bed.
guitar's over there. Yeah. All that stuff was on the bed. It's flying. Look it. Is there a trash can? This is why we keep it tied. We've learned.
Oh, the drawer pulled out too.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you think about that?
We were a little late on the Spinnaker takedown. Probably should have listened to Brooke when she said we should take it down now. 4 minutes later and it was too late.
As we regrouped and put our Genoa back out on the whisker pole, we realized we had officially entered the Intertropical Convergence Zone, aka the doldrums, where the skies can change from serene blue to menacing gray in an instant. And one thing becomes abundantly clear: uncertainty is our constant companion.
You need toilet paper.
Yeah.
Gotta go.